Today we're going to go over some signs that your young pullet is about to start laying eggs for the first time. I do want to put in a quick disclaimer though. If you have been following my channel for a while, you may notice that it looks a little bit different in here. That's because we just moved. We're still in the process of getting things set up the way we want it. So don't mind the fact that some things are not complete, which is right over here, but we're working on it. And yes, a moving video will be coming out in the future. I just have not had time to work on that one yet. Now back to the tips that your young pullets are about to start laying their first eggs. We'll start off with a very big, obvious one. As you can see in this picture, this young hen, or pullet, since it is not fully mature yet, has very pale coloration on the comb and the wattles. As your hen matures, close to laying their eggs, the comb, which is the bright red piece on top there, and the wattles, which hang down below, will start turning a very bright red color. That's a very good indication that your hen is maturing and is about to start laying eggs. Another big indicator is if they start doing the squat. If you approach your hen and she squats down like this and lets you pet her and sometimes sticks out her wings, like this, that's another sign that your hen is maturing and getting ready to lay eggs. They squat like this to show that they're ready to receive a rooster, which indicates that they are maturing fully into an adult hen. As your pullets near their first egg, they will also probably become a lot more vocal. Here are two of my pullets from this year. They hatched out in the spring, and you can see they're getting very close to starting to lay because their combs and wattles are turning red. As they get close to laying their first egg, you'll probably also notice that they're spending a lot more time in the coop or around the nesting boxes, and that's totally normal. If you have younger pullets that are added to a flock that already had established hens, then they're probably already going to know where to lay because they've seen the mature hens laying in there. So they're going to be spending more time in there. Some of them may even get a little bit territorial of their favorite nesting box, and that's normal too. Just keep an eye on it, because if they get too aggressive and too out of hand with it, you might need to intervene, but luckily I've never encountered that with any of mine. Most pullets will reach maturity and start laying eggs around 16 to 24 weeks. However, this could vary depending on genetics and the breed. Some breeds mature a little bit faster and some take a lot longer than others. Silkies, for example, are a slow maturing breed, and I want to put in a disclaimer with those. Back when I was talking about the indication with the red wattles and comb, silkies have black skin, so obviously their comb and wattles are not going to turn red. But if you look closely, you may be able to see that it does look a little bit darker as they mature. Same goes with other black skin breeds. I recently put out a video on my channel about what to do to help prepare for your pullets to start laying eggs, so I'm going to put a link to that in the description below. Make sure you check that out. I have some helpful tips in there. But I'll go over a few of the basics on here as well. So one of the big things is, once they reach around 16 weeks, you can start adding oyster shell as a supplement to their diet. Oyster shell is a natural calcium supplement, and since they're going to be laying eggs, their bodies are naturally going to need more calcium. So if you put this out for them as they crave it, as their body needs it, they can go and access that, so that way they can stay healthy and strong, and that way their eggshells will be strong as well. Some people toss it on the ground, some people mix the oyster shells in their feed, or what I do is I get a cute little bird feeder and I hang it low on a short shepherd hook, so that way it'll stay clean and dry and safe in there, and they can access it as they need it. I just hang it up right in their pen. If you don't already have established hens that are showing the other ones where to lay, you can get nesting eggs. They're fake eggs that you can get from the feed store. Hens and pullets instinctively want to lay their eggs in groups where other eggs are, so by putting the fake eggs in, this will teach your pullets to go in the nesting box. With that being said, you also want to make sure that you have some comfy nesting pads in the nesting boxes for them to lay their eggs in. That will help keep your hens comfortable, and the eggs will stay clean and be less likely to break. And since they'll be laying eggs, you might want to give them a nice little treat to reward them and to keep them going strong. There's a bunch of different chicken treat options out there. The Hentastic Jumbo one is a really popular one with mine. There's also flock blocks, which last a good while. And black soldier fly larva, I feel like you can never go wrong with. It's very high in protein and rich in calcium, so that's going to be really good for your hens once they start laying. At around 16 weeks, it'll also be time to switch them to a layer feed. There's a lot of different options out there. I have a few different videos on my channel about feed that I like, so you can check those out if you want to learn more. But I am a big believer in Neutrina. I especially like their Nature Wise blend. As your pullets near laying their first egg, you're probably also going to notice that they're eating more. Eating and drinking more is totally normal once they start to lay eggs. So make sure that there's always an adequate amount of layer feed and water so that they can be happy, healthy, and comfortable. Laying an egg every day, or nearly every day, takes a lot out of their bodies, so you want to make sure that they're cared for properly so that they can lay many delicious eggs for years to come for you. If you are new to chickens, you may be surprised to see that in the colder months, they do tend to slow down. Don't be alarmed, that's normal. Sometimes when they're very young in their first year, they may not slow down too noticeably, but as they age, they will slow down significantly in the winter while they're molting, and that's totally normal. I do have other videos on my channel about how to cope with that. If you want to check that out, you might find it helpful. You may also notice that the first few eggs from your pullets may be a little bit small. Don't be disappointed unless you have a bantam, which will always lay small eggs. Standard size breeds, eggs will get larger with time as the hen continues to age and develop and mature. The first few ones are going to be a little bit small, but that should change with time. Eventually you'll get a more normal sized one. So to recap, hens and wattles are going to become bright red when your pullet is about to start laying eggs. They will start squatting if you go over to pet them or hover over them. They will likely become more vocal. They'll start checking out the nesting boxes more, may even practice sitting in there. And they'll start eating and drinking a lot more. Make sure you're prepared with the proper supplies such as nesting eggs, nesting pads, and the proper layer feed. Make sure they have plenty of clean drinking water, and you should be good to go. And as mentioned, it's a good idea to keep oyster shell on hand so that way if they feel that their body is lacking calcium, they'll be able to access it. Adding additional calcium to the diet can also be achieved by crushing up their eggshells and drying them out and feeding it back to them. Oh, and another small disclaimer, just because surprisingly a lot of people do wonder about this. No, you do not need a rooster in order for your hens to lay eggs. Your hens will naturally lay eggs on their own, no rooster needed. The only reason you would need a rooster, besides like wanting him to protect your flock and all that, would be if you want eggs to be fertilized. If you want to be able to raise and hatch chicks, then yes, you absolutely need a rooster. But just for eggs that you plan on eating, you do not. Getting hens will work just fine. Now I gotta finish spreading this stone around the coop, so I will see you in the next video.